And we will be back live in about 5 minutes.
Should have gotten a link. Do you have a phone?
Good morning. We'll wait 2 more minutes. At the moment, we have 146 people on the call, so we'll just wait a couple more minutes for the rest of them to check in. Good morning to our MESAC community, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Doha, Delhi, and Oman. I would like to take this time to welcome you to the MESAC Senior Fine Arts Festival 2021. My name is Scott Hibbard, and I am the athletic director here at GEMS Dubai American Academy. We are extremely honored to be the host of this virtual festival. We have over 230 students, 24 fine arts teachers, and over 30 clinicians who will be taking part in the event over the course of the next 2 days. Our theme is exploration. Open your mind to the possibilities. The variety of clinicians and the workshops on offer certainly lend to that theme. So I encourage all students and teachers to embrace that as the festival runs. I would like to thank our DAA team, who has done an amazing job putting this festival together. They are Miss Hall in band, Miss Novak in choir, Miss Grant in drama, and Miss Mackey in the visual arts. Without these ladies, this festival would not be the great experience it will be. I would also like to thank those fine arts directors from our MESAC community who helped collaborate with this event. I would also like to thank the professional artists and clinicians who are taking time out of their daily lives to help you become a better artist. They are too many to thank at this time. During the weekend, I encourage you through Zoom, through the chat, or by email to say thank you to those who have put this festival together. At this time, I would like to introduce our superintendent, Miss Tammy Murphy, who will say a few words.
Well, good morning, everyone. As Mr. Hibbard said, welcome to the opening ceremony of MESAC Senior Fine Arts Festival. It's always my honor and privilege to get to welcome you, and that is certainly on behalf of all the heads of schools. You know, whether you're joining us virtually like our friends from ABA in Muscat, the American Embassy School in New Delhi, ASD in Doha, or those a little closer to home, like the American Community School in Abu Dhabi, or ASD right next door. We are all gathered here to celebrate remarkable talent, creativity, and beauty. You know, this past year has been like no other. But the event today really signifies that anything is possible. Your athletic directors, staff, and schools have shown us this by what you will be experiencing over the next 2 days. Therein lies the title of the festival, Exploration. Open your mind to the possibilities. There are so many amazing workshop selections with so many incredible guest artists that will just allow you to explore a myriad of interesting topics. I think gatherings like these are also so wonderful because they provide us the opportunity to highlight the founding goals that MESAC strives to achieve: intercultural cooperation and developing self-discipline. So I want to wish you the very best on your upcoming events. I look forward to seeing you and seeing the products of your creative efforts. And I hope to get involved in some of these fun open mics, beatbox. I don't know. There's so many possibilities. I can't decide which one to choose. Have a great day, everyone. And a final virtual applause for our athletic directors. They are incredible. Have fun.
Thank you, Ms. Murphy. Now I would like to take this opportunity to introduce our keynote speaker, Sebastian Bellen. Sebastian is, like all of us, a product of the international schools. A lifelong international school student, he is a graduate from the International School of Brussels, where his wife works in kindergarten and his daughters go to school. Sebastian is a former collegiate basketball player and a retired professional player. He is a successful businessman. However, his world changed on March 22nd when he was a victim of the Brussels airport terrorist attack. I will allow him to tell you his story and his 4 pillars of life. Ladies and gentlemen, here's our keynote speaker, Sebastian Bellen.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Scott. I like Scott mentioned, it's an honor to be able to share my story and some of the insights that I've learned these past many years. Like Scott said, I'm a very proud graduate of the International School of Brussels. Actually, I'm a product of international schools, since I attended the International School of Copenhagen, the International School of Florence, and of course graduated from International School of Brussels. And I believe that the arts, or playing an instrument, or in my case, sports, I believe those are extremely powerful educational tools. I believe that the biggest challenges that life gives us creates the biggest opportunities for lessons to create a skill set that can be used in almost any domain of life. And in my case, it was mastering the sport of basketball. But these skills can be learned, like I said, in so many different avenues that whether it's drama or arts presents. And I'm very adamant about the skill set that I learned mostly comes from sports, or mostly comes from the arts. It's not to put a damper on academics, but another type of skill set, another type of foundation can be learned in this through arts, through sports. So I'll briefly share a little bit of my background, so you'll start making sense of my experience and how much the arts, and in my case sports, has allowed me to create a unique skill set. I'll share my screen with you, and let's see here. As you can tell, technology is not, there you go. So my story starts in Brazil. I had 2 brothers. My father was in international business, so we moved around the world a lot. And my first teammates were my brothers. We did everything together. We played sports. We traveled the world, and they were my biggest fans, and I was their biggest fans. My travels led me to, like I said, I lived on 3 continents of the world before the age of 10. I learned 4 languages before the age of 12. I had a really unique experience, a unique perspective on life, from being born in Brazil to Indianapolis, Indiana, in 1983. It's like going from one world to another. And then Copenhagen, Denmark, Florence, Italy, Brussels, Belgium. It really gave me a unique perspective on different cultures, on different life. And I was able to get a scholarship from the International School of Brussels. I got a scholarship to play collegiate NCAA basketball in the United States, where, as you can see here, we won a Division I conference championship my junior year. And from there, I went and played on 15 years professionally in Italy and in Belgium. After 15 years, my wife told me it was time to get a real job, that I couldn't be bouncing a basketball for the rest of my life. And with a buddy of mine, that I had met at ISB. So yeah, high school classmates. We founded a little company called Keymotion, and this company was the world's first automated video production system. So we could live stream a basketball game 100% automatically. No cameraman, no operator. And we started this company in 2012. And by 2015, it was sold. We sold it to a group of investors in New York. And I started traveling back and forth from our offices in Brussels to New York, where we had opened new offices. And it was a fascinating time. We were at the cutting edge of technology, at the cutting edge of sports technology. And unfortunately, I found myself at the Brussels airport on March 22nd, 2016. And I was about 10 meters away from the second bomb. I lost 50% of my blood. I've lost all feeling in my left leg. I had major injuries, and I became physically disabled from one day to the next. I went from being a professional athlete that had dedicated my life to sports, to physical well-being, to all of a sudden finding myself disabled. I no longer feel anything in my left leg from the knee down. My injuries were devastating. As you can tell here, this is a picture of my left leg. My leg was not only broken, my tibia, but it was shattered. And it took many months with an external fixator just to kind of mesh the bones back together. And they were finally able to to install a big metal rod into my left leg. So my left tibia is all metal, and my right femur is all metal. It's my right femur is reattached to my hip with two big screws. A little bit discomfort, but this became my biggest challenge. This became my biggest challenge to overcome my handicap, and I chose to do it through sports. I chose to do it by challenging myself. As I said before, the biggest challenges can be found in those areas, whether it's sports, art, or music. When you focus and you master your energy on trying to really advance a skill set in a specific art form or sports, I think life teaches you incredible lessons, incredible skill sets that can be applied to almost any domain of life. And so I spent 4 months on a hospital bed. I couldn't move. And my journey started, of course, a lifelong journey of rehab. And this is one of my youngest daughters who became my first, let's say, teammate in this rehab. She came to almost every rehab session and was my sparring partner. As you can tell, I lost a big chunk of my calf muscle, and it's a daily regimen of discipline and of exercises to try to keep always ahead of my handicap. And my journey took me from, a piece of humble pie, where I went back to the arena. I went back to my team where I had won championships. I was the captain of Ostund, the team in yellow, for 5 years, and we won championships. We won Belgian Cups. We were in the European Cups, and I decided to start my journey there. My journey to rehabbing and overcoming my handicap in a wheelchair, and gradually over the next years, in less than 2 years, I was able to learn to walk again. I was able to beat death, beat my handicap, and I finished a marathon. That was my biggest goal, to be able to. I didn't do it very fast. I didn't run it very fast, but I was able to run it and cross the finish line. And this journey of learning to walk again, of overcoming my handicap, allowed me to yet again learn some incredible lessons. And so, what are these lessons? What are these lessons that I've learned? What are these kind of golden nuggets that I wish to pass on, and maybe they can help you. Maybe they can inspire you to maybe see life a little bit differently. It's not rocket science. I'm not one of the smartest guys out there. It's actually a very simple four pillars, four themes, I could say, that have helped me in everything, whether it's sports, whether it's business, whether it's my personal life. I find that these simple four pillars have allowed me to overcome some of the most devastating injuries, challenges, or obstacles that have been placed in my path by life. And so what's the first pillar? The first pillar is what I call a team. And I know some of you are thinking, here we go again. You know, the ex-athlete who comes and says there's no I in team. Yeah, okay, we've heard it. We've heard it a million times. But this is a special type of team. This is a team with no ego. My entire life, I've tried to be on teams, and I've tried to eliminate the idea of ego on these teams. I think ego is one of the biggest blocking points of growth. Growing up, my mom always used to tell me, my mom's an ex-physical therapist, and she used to tell me all the time, she said, Seb, if you're the smartest guy in the room, change rooms. Don't stay on teams. Don't stay in a room where you're the smartest guy. Surround yourself with teammates, with people, with artists, with musicians. Surround yourself with people who are better than you. Because if you do that, if you surround yourself with people who are smarter, who are more talented than you, well, they will always challenge you to be better. But we live in a world where that's not really pushed. The smartest guy in the room usually gets the most visibility. And so many young people grow up thinking, no, I have to be the best. I have to be the best, but it's the best of yourself that you should demand. And you find the best of yourself by consistently surrounding yourself with people who are smarter than you, with people who are more talented than you. The more you're challenged, the more you learn to overcome these challenges, the more life teaches you these lessons. If you're never challenged, you're never learning. True learning happens in discomfort. And like I always say, learn to be comfortable in discomfort. It's not fun when people challenge you. It's not fun when people necessarily will look at you and say, hey, I'm better than you. The ego will tell you, no, that's unacceptable. But I think that if you have a mindset of eliminating ego and eliminating the idea that you have to be the best man in the room, the best person, the best woman in the room, well, you'll start surrounding yourself with people that are far better and acquiring skill sets that will naturally come to you. So that's my first pillar. It may seem so simplistic, but I challenge you that if you are the smartest person in the room, change rooms as fast as possible. So we created our team with no ego. That's the first pillar. What's the second pillar? The second pillar is what I like to call the illusion of fear. You see, I think there's a big difference between fear and danger. And not many people recognize that difference. For me, fear doesn't exist. It's a figment of your imagination. And I'll give you an example. A car coming at you full speed at 100 miles an hour, coming at you full speed, that's dangerous. Get out of the way or you're going to be hit by a car. You're in real danger. Fear is waking up in the morning thinking, oh no, today I'm going to get hit by a car. The only place fear can exist if you are not in danger is in your mind. It's very important to know the difference and the distinction between those two. Because I think a lot of people drain so much energy from themselves or drain so much energy from their team by having this fear. And we see this fear more and more growing in our society. If you're an athlete, oh, tomorrow I got a big game. We're going to lose this game. Get all nervous. You haven't even played the game, and already your mind is focused on a complete illusion. Are you in danger of losing the game? No, the game's tomorrow. A parent who's looking at their child playing in the tree. Come down there. You're going to break your arm. You're going to fall and break your arm. The child is perfectly happy in the tree, but you are instilling the fear in that child. It's a complete assumption that the child will fall and break their arm. And we live with this fear. We live with these illusions. And I'm going to ask you to close your eyes right now. I'm going to ask you to close your eyes. And I'm going to ask you to think of something that really scares you. Think of something that really scares you, that you have fear. Think of something, whether it can be spiders or whatever it is. Think of something that is really scary to you. Take a few seconds to think of it. Now, if you imagine that thing that you have, that you're really scared of, okay, whether it's death, the fear of dying, the fear of spiders. Well, in the present moment, which is all we're guaranteed right now, in this moment, am I in danger of dying? No, I'm healthy. I'm healthy. There's no problem with my health. So in this very moment, the only place fear can exist, the fear of dying can exist, if I'm not in danger, is in my mind. And the more we create and we are aware of that distinction, the more we eliminate fear. How do we do that? Well, the next time you're scared, the next time you fear something, just pause. Take a moment. Am I in danger or is it fear? If you're in danger, act. If it's fear, imagine a windshield wiper, thinking, okay, it's pure fear. It's a figment of my imagination. It hasn't happened, and you wipe them away. It's not going to happen right away, but if you constantly do this every single time, the distinction between danger and fear, you'll see that's like going to the mental weight room. It's like going to the fitness room for your brain. If I'm not in danger, then it's a fear. So we created our team. We now understand the difference between danger and fear. And we no longer drain ourselves of this energy. A lot of people who fear lose a lot of energy on things that most likely will never happen. What a waste of energy that could be applied to many other things, notably your team. What's the third pillar? Well, once we have our team and once we have maximized the power of this team by not draining them of energy, what's the third pillar? The third pillar is focus. I find a lot of people who fear have a very hard time focusing. And focus is so critical in mastering or reaching objectives. Learning an instrument, learning an art form, mastering a sports. it takes incredible amount of focus. And the more focus you have on your objective, the more likely you'll get there. It takes time, but you'll get there. But along the way, if you're losing all this energy, if you're being drained of all your energy, it's very hard to stay focused on goals. Knowing the distinction between danger and fear, eliminating the number one, personally, what I think is the number one factor of that where people lose energy, fear, allows you to have a much clearer focus. And when you see and have a much clearer focus, well, you start seeing opportunities. And I always use the example of at the airport on March 22nd. I was a few seconds after the attacks, there was a dead woman right next to me. So there was a dead woman right next to me, and this woman was obviously still lifeless, and it was very obvious that she had passed away, that she was dead. And in that very moment, I found an incredible amount of strength by rejecting fear. I realized that this woman was a victim. The bomb had killed her. I had been a survivor. I had survived the bomb. I was not a victim. I was a survivor. There's a big difference between being a survivor and a victim. A victim is somebody who goes through an experience and becomes less. A survivor is somebody who goes through an experience and overcomes the experience. And by overcoming the experience, well, that's where you learn. That's where you learn those incredible lessons that I spoke about before. So in that very moment, when fear could have grasped me, the fear of dying, it made me realize that, wow, I'm alive, I survived. And fear was not able to grasp. In that very moment, was I in danger of dying? Yes, but I was not dead. And all of a sudden, opportunities opened up everywhere. A scarf to my right became my tourniquet. I grabbed the scarf. There's a scarf lying there. I grabbed the scarf and I tied a really tight tourniquet around my right leg. There's a little suitcase to my left. And that little suitcase, well, I brought it over and I remember the lessons of all my coaches, and my mom said, listen, elevate your legs. If you're bleeding heavily, elevate your legs. And I was bleeding so much, it seemed like there was faucets of blood coming out of my legs. So I tied the tourniquet with the scarf. I took the little suitcase and somehow I managed to lift my legs up. And then I noticed a baggage cart in the distance. And I asked some people to bring over the baggage cart. And I was able to, with the help of some passerbys, I was able to lift myself onto the baggage cart and then lift my legs onto the baggage cart. All of a sudden I was mobile again. I had makeshift legs. Everything I needed to survive that moment, life had put there. Every opportunity that could enhance my chances of survival, of living, were there. And because fear could not grasp me, because these illusions did not drain me of this energy, I found an incredible amount of energy to continue on surviving. And I saw these opportunities. How many opportunities do you miss every day because of this fear, because of these illusions that constantly hold you back? An open mind, understanding the difference between danger and fear, allows us to have such clear focus. And with clear focus, we see opportunities. So we created our team. We understand the difference between fear and danger. And now we have a much more powerful focus. What's the fourth pillar? The fourth pillar is what I call quantity versus quality. And to tell you the truth, I wish I would have come to the awareness of this 4-pillar much earlier than I did. I believe that knowing the difference between quality and quantity is the absolute key, especially at a young age. You see, I think that quantity is what we want. Quality is what we need. And I see people, lots of people going through life with a focus on quantity, with building their foundation on quantity. I like to take the inverse approach, the opposite approach. My foundation is built on quality. And I'll give you a real example about quantity and quality, wants and needs. Are you chasing wants, or are you focusing on truly what you need? When you're really thirsty, when you're really, really thirsty, do you sit there and think, I think I need about 4 glasses of water? No. When you truly need something, when you truly, truly need something, you don't measure. And that's my theory. That's what I truly believe in. That anything you truly need cannot be measured. Your wants are measurable. Your needs are not measurable. And I'm not saying that quantity is bad. I'm saying that it shouldn't be your focus. You see, we all need to pay bills, we need jobs, quantity is not a bad thing. Quantity is a good thing. But I see a world more and more focusing on quantity. And the more you focus on quantity, the more you're focusing on your wants. They're not your true needs. And focusing on your wants, having an obsession with wants, I don't think that truly makes you happy. I don't think that makes you a really fulfilled person. Because we've created a world where actually the only thing that truly matters, the only systems that can be measured are the ones we pay attention to. The smartest kid, the smartest student is the one with the best grades. The best athlete is the one who scored the most points. Everything we have in this life is measured. We've become a society that measures absolutely everything. You make a lot of money? Wow, you're really successful. You are the most successful person. I don't think so. I think we're coming into an awareness that is the exact opposite. Remember, quantity is important, but quality is the focus. And if you build a foundation of quality, quantity comes by itself. But most people do it the other way around. Most people think that quantity is going to bring a quality of life, but it's the quality of life that brings quantity. And I'm an adamant believer in this. And I'll finish by giving an example. I give an example that I use. I have 2 daughters. Both of them go to ISB. And my 2 daughters, every day when they leave for school, we all have backpacks, or we have bags. We go to the gym. We bring a bag. We go on a trip. We bring a bag. Well, I always ask them before they leave for school. I say, "What's in your bag? Not what's in your wallet. What's in your bag?" And I say, it's very important to understand what's in your bag, what we carry every day. They look at me and they're like, "Yeah, okay." They've heard the story 1,000 times, but I keep reminding them every single day, what's in your bag? Because I see people, especially adults, I see people sticking so much quantity into their bags. A new house, more money, bigger salaries, a second car. I see them put so much quantity into their bag, into their luggage. And these people seem heavier and heavier and heavier. And then you see this other type of person that kind of just is always zooming through life, just really happy-go-lucky. Not the hardest worker, but just always seems like lucky, always seems happy. And you open up their bag and you start wondering, like, what's in your bag? And you find that this kind of person focuses so much on quality, on these attributes, on these character traits that I believe can truly be learned in arts, in sports, things like teamwork. There's tons. Tolerance, open-mindedness, all these things that matter so much, in my opinion, in building your foundation are things that cannot be measured. Love, happiness, those things can't be measured. And actually, the more you put into your bag of quality, the more your bag becomes lighter. My last challenge to you today is saying, hey, what are you putting into your bag? How much quality are you placing into your bag every day? And there's a true story that I'll truly finish now. Now this is the last thing I'll talk about. There's a true story that happened to me, actually the night before the attacks. And I love this story. It's a true story because it really shows this quality versus quantity. And it happened on March 21st, 2016. I was in Paris all day for meetings with the company, Keynote. I was in meetings with the French Basketball League in Paris. And I took the last train from Paris back to Brussels. And I get to Brussels around 7:30 p.m. I was tired, and my best friend, Greg, calls me. He says, "Listen, I'm going out to dinner with Kara. Kara is his wife, and his wife works with my wife at ISB." And I said, "Listen, Greg, I'm not coming out. I'm tired. I've been in Paris all day, and I'm leaving tomorrow morning on the first flight back to the States." I hung up on him, and he calls me back a second time, and he said, "Listen, Seb, come on. I just want to go, just a quick dinner. I haven't seen you in a long time." I said, Greg, I'm going to be in a terrible mood. I'm tired. I want to go to sleep." I hung up on him. He calls me back a third time. This is a true story. Calls me back a third time. And the third time, again, he insists. And I'm like, Greg, I can't do it, man. I'm just way too tired. I hung up. He calls me back a fourth time. He says, "Seb, I love you, man. I haven't seen you in so long. I just want to see you come out to dinner." I said, "Fine, Greg, you're a pain in the ass, but I'm coming out." And so he takes me and we go down to a little restaurant that we both like. And we go down to an Italian restaurant called Palo Alto. And at this restaurant, I know the owner very well. And he's an Italian guy who cooks with a lot of passion and really puts a lot of love and energy into his food. And I order my favorite dish, which is pasta carbonara. And the dish comes out, and I hadn't eaten anything all day. And so I gobble the whole dish up. By the time the owner came back with the rest of the food for Greg and Kara, I had already finished my pasta carbonara. And so he looks at me and goes, "Listen, that wasn't enough." I said, "Look, your quality is amazing, but your quantity really needs improving." And he gets all offended. He gets offended. He gets all mad that he didn't make me enough food. So he goes back into the kitchen, and later he brings me back like a double portion of pasta carbonara, huge. And I wolf it all down. And I go home that night, and I go to the airport the next morning, and I get blown up. I get blown up, and I lose 50% of my blood during the attack. I needed 3 blood transfusions when I got to the hospital. After an hour and a half of fighting for my life, I needed 3 blood transfusions when I got there. And frankly, the doctors, the surgeons, for the next few weeks were asking me so many questions. They had never seen such a big guy, 2 meters 5, 240 pounds. They had never seen a big guy lose so much blood and never pass out. And I said, listen, you're a freak of nature. And I said, yeah, sounds about right. And until I told him about the pasta carbonara. And the lead surgeon came back the next day and said, listen, you're not a Superman. You're not a freak of nature. You're alive today. You're alive today because of the pasta you ate the night before. You ate so much pasta. You ate so much quantity of pasta that your blood sugar index, your glycemic index was so high that you were able to survive the bomb attacks. So what's the moral of the story? The moral of the story is never say no to a second or third portion of pasta carbonara. Never. Always say yes to seconds or thirds. But what's the real moral of the story? What's the real message behind this story? I'm not alive today because of the quantity of pasta that I ate. I'm alive today because I have so much quality. I have a friend who loves me so much that I hang up on him 4 times and he calls me back every single time. Every single time he called me back wanting to see me. And so this is my last challenge. I promise this is my last challenge. I want you as seniors going out into the world, just be cognizant of how much quality you're putting into your bag. Quantity is important, but the more quality, the more tolerance, the more open-mindedness, the more empathy, the more hard work, the more all these things that you can do and put into your bag, it will make a difference. Because for me, the difference between life and death is not the quantity that I have, but the quality in my life. Thanks. Thank you for your time. And I hope you were able to get a few golden nuggets out of my experience. And thank you again for allowing me to share them with you.
Thank you, Sebastian. It's an amazing story. I love pasta carbonara as well. Thank you for sharing your story. Sebastian is a part of the Global Athletic Network, which will be coming to schools in the upcoming year. So really encourage your school, your athletic director to get involved in this network. I'm going to share my screen again. So again, thank you very much, Sebastian. A few final notes for all of our participants. Before the festival starts. Please remember we are a collaborative school community and displaying ethics and good citizenship is a must throughout our MESAC events. Please make sure during any of the workshops that you attend that your cameras are on and your volume is off unless you are directed to turn them on or off. Make sure that you're not distracted by your phone or other devices and that you are in a comfortable area and that you will not be disturbed. Secondly, we are into the holy month of Ramadan and there will be people who are observing the fast. Please be respectful, dress appropriately. If you need to drink, snack, or eat, please do that with your camera off or during the breaks periods that have been set up. If you are having tech trouble, please don't panic. Please alert your respective teacher and they will tell us and we will get you back into the sessions as soon as we can. And one more final note, if you could, on your Zoom screen, please make sure that your name, school, and discipline are in the name plate. so everybody can see for the entirety of the event. So for example, Scott Hibbard, DAA, band. Finally, this link will close momentarily, and we are asking you now to go directly to your respective disciplines' first Zoom link, and they are the following. There is a band full meeting, and the link is in the chat here. There is a choir full meeting. The visual arts will go right to their first workshops, and all of the drama, I believe, is up with Ms. Grant, and they will start momentarily as well. All of these links have been shared with your school's ADs and fine arts directors. I hope that you have a great time during this festival and really explore the opportunities that are out there this weekend. Thank you and have a great festival.
Hi everyone, those that are left in here, I am Miss Grant, and those that are here should be in theatre, in the drama. So if you're not in drama or theatre, see you later and have a great day, have a great workshops. A few things for everyone that's doing theatre today. We will go straight to our 2 workshops, and I don't want to take too much time because